In terms of the fourth quarter, they had all but one of their buckets was inside the paint. Was that them just being able to get into the paint and get whatever they want because of that point of attack defense like you were talking about?
Yeah, they had that and 9 free throws.
What in the world did we just witness? The Indiana Fever were rolling. They had just crushed the Dallas Wings, dominated the Minnesota Lynx to win their first Commissioner's Cup title, and handled the Las Vegas Aces like season champions. 3 straight statement wins. Momentum was surging. The chemistry was building. Even without their rookie superstar Caitlin Clark, the Fever looked like a team on a mission. Then came the Los Angeles Sparks, one of the worst teams in the WNBA this season, a squad that, on paper, shouldn't even be able to hang with Indiana's second unit. The Fever entered as heavy favorites.
With that last play that I'm speaking about, it seemed like they called it a loose ball foul at first, which would have been favorable for us because we have them in the bonus. Yeah, we were in the bonus with 5.5 minutes left to go. First time all season. I was shocked. We grabbed the rebound. Looked like they called it a loose ball foul. Yes, we could go to the free throw line. Oh, they changed it. Reset time.
ESPN's predictor gave them a 73% chance to win. Oddsmakers had Indiana favored by 6.5 points. Everything pointed to a routine victory. Instead, we got this: controversy, chaos, referee decisions that made absolutely no sense, and a coach who, for the first time all season, snapped.
Finding out this morning that we probably need to hold out again today. It's just, it really is a day-to-day thing. And I think for us, making sure that we're prioritizing her long-term health and wellness. It's anybody who's had some of these types of injuries understand that sometimes it's a process. She's a quick healer, and she's been doing everything that she can to get back on the floor. So, we just want to make sure that we're hypersensitive to the big picture.
Stephanie White, normally poised and professional, had just 5 words after the game, but those 5 words hit harder than anything else said that night. We didn't get the calls. Let's rewind. Caitlin Clark was sidelined again, her 5th straight game out with a lingering groin injury. Coach White made it clear they were prioritizing Clark's long-term health, and she's been making progress. But without her on the court, the team had to find new ways to win. Then came more bad news. DeToss was away representing her national team. Dana Bonner, gone from the roster. 3 major pieces missing in one night. But even with all that, the Fever still had more talent. Aaliyah Boston was playing like an MVP. Kelsey Mitchell was stepping up as a leader. Natasha Howard brought a steady veteran presence. This wasn't some lottery team. This was still a playoff contender. The game tipped off. The Fever got out to a solid start. The crowd was buzzing. The team looked like they had enough to take care of business.
I don't get it. Breanna Stewart, Aja Wilson, wait until you see what they did for Kelsey Plum tonight. They get all the calls. Touch fouls, anything. And guess what happens? Aaliyah Boston, the best center in the game. And guess what happens to her? She gets called for every touch foul and ends up in foul trouble this entire season and is still putting up MVP-type numbers. What happens with Caitlin Clark? Have you ever seen her get a touch foul? Phantom call? No. The physicality, that's the WNBA when it comes to Caitlin Clark. But anybody else, the physicality disappears. And it's foul after foul.
Then everything changed. From the second quarter on, the officiating became the storyline. Fouls were being handed out like candy, but only one direction. Aaliyah Boston, the best center in the league right now, was getting called for everything. Touch fouls, phantom fouls, plays where she didn't even make contact, and yet she was whistled over and over again.
Here's Mitchell off the screen, but can't connect on the 3. Boston offensive rebound, rolls it in and a foul. The 2 bigs bring the ball up the floor, and Hamby wasn't ready for that.
How about that change of pace and burst like a guard, gets downhill to the rim.
Meanwhile, on the other end, the Sparks were playing like it was a WWE match. Sophie Cunningham was literally grabbed by the neck, no call. A clear foul turned into a jump ball. The next play, thrown to the ground. And it didn't stop there. Kelsey Mitchell got elbowed by Kelsey Plum and stepped over like it was some street ball disrespect play. Again, no whistle. Natasha Howard drove the lane and got slapped across the face. Again, no whistle.
What in the world did I just sit through? What did I just witness? I'm pretty sure I just had years shaved off the back end of my life. What a tough, ugly watch this game was, and on top of it, they lost. They lost.
McDonald had her hands up, got shoved, and got called for the foul. It was a disaster. It wasn't just bad refereeing. It was decisive, game-changing. Every call in the final minutes went the Sparks' way. Every moment that could have swung the game for Indiana was shut down by a whistle, or the lack of one. Let's talk numbers. Aaliyah Boston dropped 23 points and 12 rebounds. She shot 9 for 17 from the field and dominated inside. She even went 5 for 7 from the free throw line when she actually got to shoot them. Kelsey Mitchell, ice cold, 19 points, 3 huge three-pointers, and her 251st game as a member of the Fever, second only to legend Tamika Catchings in franchise history. Natasha Howard, incredible. 21 points, 9 rebounds, 8 of 11 shooting, and pure hustle. These 3 players put the team on their back. They battled through adversity, carried the weight of missing stars, and kept Indiana in it all night long. They did everything right, but the refs made sure it wasn't enough. Let's go back to Coach Stephanie White's post-game press conference. You could see it on her face, the frustration, the exhaustion, the fire. This wasn't just another loss. This was theft. And when she was asked about the officiating, she didn't yell, she didn't rant. She just said, "We didn't get the calls." That was it. 5 words that captured the entire night. 5 words that said what Fever fans and WNBA fans in general have been feeling for weeks. It's becoming a pattern.
What does it take to get a team to be more consistent, especially from you on the coaching side of things?
Yeah, I mean, I think a couple things. There's always got to be a high attention to knowing personnel. Oftentimes you don't get a lot of practice time, and so going over a lot of their sets, which you do, but at the end of the day, making sure we know our personnel, who we're going to run off the 3-point line, what we're willing to give up. We've got to make sure that there's a high attention to detail there.
Game after game, the Fever, and particularly Caitlin Clark, have been on the receiving end of questionable no calls and unbalanced officiating. We've seen Clark hit, shoved, even eye poked, and nothing gets called. Meanwhile, the slightest contact from an Indiana player, automatic foul. And now it's spreading. Boston, Mitchell, McDonald, the referees aren't just inconsistent. They're interfering. They're deciding games. And last night, they cost the Fever a win they absolutely earned. But here's what makes this team special. Even after this brutal loss, the Fever showed who they are. They stayed competitive. They battled. They pushed a WNBA team to the brink while missing their top 3 players. And they did it under the weight of biased officiating. And now Clark is coming back. Coach White said she's close, maybe even ready for the next game against the Golden State Valkyries. She's been doing drills, sitting on the bench, getting ready. Imagine that lineup. Caitlin Clark running the show. Aaliyah Boston dominating the paint. Kelsey Mitchell lighting it up from deep. Lexi Hull bringing defensive grit. Natasha Howard doing it all. That's a championship squad. And when they're healthy, watch out. Let's talk long-term. This loss isn't just a stain on the refs. It's a warning to the rest. These players aren't folding under pressure. They're evolving. Mitchell has averaged over 21 points per game while Clark's been out. Boston is playing like an all-WNBA center. Howard is a veteran leader showing why she's still elite. The Sparks might have gotten the W, but the Fever got something better. Fuel. Fuel for the rest of the season, fuel for the playoffs, fuel for revenge. So if you're another WNBA team watching this, don't get too comfortable, because when Clark is back and this team is healthy, they're coming, and they remember everything. Every bad call, every elbow, every team that kicked them while they were down. This isn't over. This is just the beginning. Let us know in the comments, did the refs rig this game? Was Stephanie White right to call them out? And what are your thoughts on the Fever's revenge tour? Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. Because of this team, they're about to shock the league.